All right, in this segment of the Oura Ring 4 versus UltraHuman Air ring, we want to talk about applications and subsequently fees, the information from those applications, and then battery life. Let's go ahead and get battery life out of the way first, because that one's probably going to be the easiest one to discuss. With battery life, the clear winner is the Oura Ring 4. First off, it just lasts longer. By the time the UltraHuman ring was about to die, I still had anywhere between about a half and 3/4 of battery life left on the Oura Ring 4, which was very impressive. Oura advertises that the Oura Ring 4 gets around 8 days of battery life, and while you probably won't get that too often, you will get almost that, whereas you could probably run your Oura Ring 4 for at least a week or a business week before having to recharge it. The same cannot be said about the UltraHuman ring. You will need to probably charge it up once or twice a week to get maximum efficiency. Another issue with UltraHuman is quality control in its batteries. UltraHuman had to replace, I think, 2 or 3 of my rings due to bad battery life. And mind you, they did it very quickly and pretty much with no hassle, but the point is that the Oura Ring 4 seems to be equipped with maybe a slightly higher quality battery than the UltraHuman ring. Anyway, in terms of battery life, the Oura Ring 4 wins hands down. Now, before we segue into the walkthrough of the applications and their information, we should probably cover firmware between the two rings. I have yet to have an update on the Oura Ring 4. However, the UltraHuman ring gets a constant slew of updates both to its application and its firmware on the ring itself. Now, mind you, they have a little bit of catch-up that they have to do with Oura. Oura's been around for a few years now. They've worked out a lot of the kinks in their algorithms, their systems, their applications. So, UltraHuman is just trying to sort of get where Oura Ring is now. But nevertheless, it's nice to see that UltraHuman is really putting forth a lot of R&D and effort into improving the quality and algorithm of their ring. And also there's a lot of feature requests that users have, and they seem to be listening to their audience and trying to implement those features as they go. And also with that said, UltraHuman seems to be investing money and R&D into new products too, which is kind of a nice thing to see. Hopefully they have a lot of success from those things. Now let's talk about applications. There is a lot of overlap between the two applications because, well, let's call it for what it is. They're both fitness tracking rings. So there's only but so much that you can do. They all have sleep tracking, they have temperature sensors, they've got motion sensors, accelerometers, you get the idea. Basically, both rings can do a slew of very similar things. Where there seems to be a difference in their implementation, though, is of course how the app translates that data for you as the end user. Now, this definitely seems to be a preference thing, because in some ways I like what UltraHuman has done with their application a little bit more. But I will say that Oura Ring 4's Oura Ring's improvements to their application has gone a long way in terms of not just the data that they show you, but then like suggestions on how you can improve your metric. And that was something I really thought that UltraHuman benefited over Oura Ring. There just seemed to be a little bit more like, for example, like if it detected that your sleep wasn't that good, it would maybe give you suggestions on how you can improve your sleep. Basically practical lifestyle changes that you could do to improve your metrics. And Oura has only now sort of started doing that with their new application. I'm gonna run through a walkthrough on both applications, and basically that will allow you as the end user to see for yourself which one you prefer, both in terms of UI and the data that they give. All right, so first off, when we launched the Oura app, it is much faster at updating the information from the ring than the UltraHuman ring. It's probably about twice as fast. At the top, you've got a couple of different metrics, things like readiness, your sleep score, activity, heart rate, and stress. Nice little side-by-side glance at the top. Beneath that is the activity detected. That will detect things like a workout, in this case a walk, or even things like a nap. So I'll go ahead and hit confirm. That basically just adds it underneath we'll go to the little timeline here. You've got my walk when I woke up. Obviously, you can tell I'm quite lazy. And then obviously any activity that you add to these things, you can add things like an activity, an unguided session, or record a workout heart rate. One thing I do not care for about the Oura Ring is that when you try to record your heart rate during a workout, it only gives you the choice of running, cycling, or walking, whereas the UltraHuman ring allows you to do, well, everything. Basically, the Oura Ring almost insists that it needs to do the auto detect for your workouts. And I do think that that's a little bit of a flaw, and also something people have been asking for to change since pretty much since the beginning. You have things like the activity goal, which gives you the active calories burned, tells you things like your inactive time, gives you an activity score. Obviously, the higher the better. If you click on that, it gives you a slew of different metrics. It gives your step counter, total calories burnt, walking equivalency. I like that one. That one's kind of cool. And then it tells you things like training frequency and training volume. Obviously, today I'm having a tough go at it. And then, of course, you can check back from yesterday and the days before. Daytime stressed. Right now I'm relaxed. But it gives you a little timeline of how often I was stressed. Basically, a little bit before lunchtime. I would say that that's actually fairly accurate. I was having a lot of client interaction, thus a little more stressed, probably high on caffeine. Heart rate, pretty self-explanatory, gives you your resting heart rate as well as current heart rate, restorative time, et cetera and so forth. These are nice metrics here. We hit more, gives you things like your heart health, says that my cardio capacity is fair and that my cardiovascular age is aligned with my actual age. This one's interesting because the UltraHuman says that my cardiovascular age is less than this. So maybe this just needs a little more time to calibrate. Then, of course, you have your readiness score, which is basically when you wake up, it lets you know how ready you are to take on the day. That one's a little silly because ultimately when you wake up, you should feel, whether you feel good or not. Your sleep score, obviously. Resilience. This one I really like, and this one is something I wish the UltraHuman Ring would have. But if you click this one, I have solid resilience. Tells you what resilience insight is. Gives you some guidance and tips on how to take control of that and improve that. And basically it's just showing you that the resilience is your ability to interact with stress throughout the day. It's telling you when your ideal bedtime is. Last night I went to bed at 23:12. So obviously that's on the later side of when I'm supposed to. And then it's asking you to explore and take a break with guided breath work and meditation. And then what's new? Take a walk. How many steps per day do you actually need? Gives you like little information on stuff throughout your day there. You hit the little ring icon at the top right, tells you the battery life, obviously that it's connected. If we click on the little top area there, you've got a whole bunch of different options here. Blood oxygen sensing, I've got that, that on, allows you to mess with a few different settings of the ring itself. If we click on Oura Labs, it allows you to try some new experimental features. So understanding your eating habits and finds the optimal meal schedule that supports your well-being. That one might be kind of interesting. Or advisor, get personalized advice on how to nurture your sleep. Optimize activity, might be kind of interesting as well. Different research studies. This one's kind of a neat one. If we hit learn more on meals, let's go ahead and hit start testing. See, steady meal. See here, how it works. Take a photo of your plate and beverages, or type in what you're having, and then an AI-assisted service will analyze your meal. Logged meals will appear on the 24-hour clock, which also shows your sleep-wake cycle. That one's kind of fun. I'm going to go ahead and test that one. Obviously, Oura Labs is doing the whole add-on experimental features, kind of like UltraHuman Ring is. Maybe they'll add in a caffeine one eventually as well. So I think that would be very, very cool. And now you've got a little window right here to log your meals. All in the Oura app is excruciatingly clean. It is very, very clean, very, very modern. They've done a fabulous job. Under Vitals, you can just take a brief overview of all of your, vitals, again, sleep score, readiness, et cetera, and so forth. That's really nice, your daytime heart rate. And then under My Health, when you click on that, it tells you your resilience, your heart health, what your cardiovascular age is, your chronotype, your sleep regularity, all that stuff. That's really fun. There's a lot of very helpful information, and it's all put in here, and I would argue a very just a very clean, informative way. If we hit the plus icon, it allows you to log a meal, do an unguided meditation session there. Let's go ahead and hit that. So you can add a soundscape. You can also say how long you want to do it for. And this is all included in the monthly subscription for Oura. They did a good job here. This application, when they originally had the Oura Ring 3, it just was simply not this good. I think UltraHuman came out with their product and app, and it was a lot more practical and a lot more useful for the info. So Oura knew they needed to kind of, keep up. And I think all in, they've done a pretty solid job at that. Maybe even surpassing UltraHuman in terms of the practical information that you receive on it. The monthly fee kind of stinks, but if it's a good app, I guess it's worth it. And ultimately, I'm excited to see where Oura continues to go with improving this application. All right, now let's go through the UltraHuman Ring Air. As I said before, the Ring takes a little bit longer to update, or rather push its data to the application than the Oura Ring does. It is absolutely not a deal breaker or a big deal, but it's just worth noting that the Oura Ring 4 seems to be a little bit faster. In the little Today screen here, or rather the little home button or home tab there at the bottom, you have your sort of extensions at the top. So that includes what they call power plugs. So you have things like vitamin D, circadian alignment, your caffeine window. That one I really liked, actually. You have some pregnancy insights, cycle tracking, screen time, etc., and so forth. I have this blue light tolerance phase on. I like the fact that both products are starting to try to have extensions on their rings that could be valuable for some users, but not others. It's kind of nice to have that customization. First thing you've got there at the top is movement tab. Then you've got your stress tab. You've got your caffeine permissible window. That's that little caffeine add-on I have. The dynamic recovery. This one is something that I really like. Basically this, I guess you could consider this the sort of a similar equivalent to like the resilience in the Oura. But this one's basically giving you your temperature, resting heart rate, and HRV. And if you go in there, it's telling you what these different things, what your different data is, whether it's in good or bad, and how that means for you recovering from things like exercise, stress, etc., and so forth. You get your sleep tab, your sleep debt, which is something that Oura kind of started, and while they still have that, they sort of changed how they display it. But sleep debt basically is just telling you, whether or not you need more sleep or not. And then you've got your little breathwork workout, quick starts, individual markers, smart goals. I like this one. Smart goals is basically where you can set different parameters to things that you want to do, such as the amount of steps you want to make, the amount of active hours you make, and if you click on that, it will tell you obviously whether or not you're hitting those or not. I do think that the smart goals is a very clever feature. And then of course you have your timeline that tells you what you've done throughout the day, and your Ring battery. As you can tell, a lot of these applications, again, as I said before, there's a lot of overlap in the two applications, both in the data and how they sort of lay it out. They're both intuitive, and each has a sort of pro and con in terms of like, I guess its readability and the data that it displays. It's hard for me to necessarily say one is better than the other, but I will say for sure the Oura Ring app is more polished. With that said, that's an easy fix for UltraHuman, and as they go, they can kind of sand out the edges and just make it a little bit smoother. The little metabolism tab here at the bottom is sort of a sales pitch for a new product that they have. You have your zones, but this is kind of similar to like the Friends feature, I guess, like on the Apple Watch, where you can kind of share and compete with one another. The Discover tab at the bottom, this is where you have like meditate, workout, sleep, gives you metabolic education, UltraHuman podcast, some workout things that you can do. I mean, these are nice little sort of free things that they give you. Different things that kind of keep you like roped in. I like that. It's nice that they're giving you all of this stuff for free with the purchase of your Ring. It just seems a little less money hungry than Oura. And then last, you have your profile tab over there at the bottom right, where you can adjust things like your settings and a couple of other things with your account. I'm not going to click on that though. That is the UltraHuman app. It's good and I like it. All right, now that those two walkthroughs are finished, let's go ahead and wrap this up with one final thought. Oura Ring's application has come a long way, and it supplies damn near as much usable data as UltraHuman Ring does, if not maybe even a little bit more. That said, it's nice that UltraHuman allows for add-ons and like extensions to sort of give you a little bit more stuff that you may want to have on the Ring, including things like circadian rhythm, caffeine consumption, female needs. But where, of course, the UltraHuman application benefits over the Oura Ring is the price. Oura, of course, charges you a monthly fee. I think it's like $6 in order to utilize their app, whereas the UltraHuman Ring is free with no monthly fee. And that's really nice because in a world where everything is a fucking subscription, it's nice to know that there's one thing out there that isn't trying to tug at your wallet strings. All is to say that it's probably preference in terms of which app is better. I really think that it's kind of crappy that Oura Ring started charging for their app, but I mean, I get it. That's just how you bring in revenue, so not much you can do about that. Is it worth the monthly fee? I guess that just depends if you like the Ring better. By all accounts, the Oura Ring 4 is a slightly more refined product. So with that said, Possibly. Anyway, find out in our conclusion video which one you should buy. Anyway, check out our other videos on the Oura Ring 4 versus the UltraHuman Ring. We hope that this one was helpful in helping you decide which ring that you can get. And we'll be back with another video really soon.